So we always hear about the 4-letter words, right? But in reality, when it comes to money, there's 6 letters that can kind of tank your finances or tank how you feel about your finances, and that's if only. If only. If only I was richer. If only I had more. If only some rich uncle had left me an inheritance. And what that does is it shifts you as if you're out of control, right? And it doesn't help you confront the reality of your situation, which is confrontable too. And so we kind of hide behind this if only, and we victimize ourselves, right? If only I could retire. If only I hadn't had to take care of my mom or my aunt or my spouse or whatnot. If only my ex-spouse hadn't screwed me over in the divorce. We get lost in this word. And part of money with purpose, part of being engaged with your life, and especially your financial life, is agency. And we have to have agency. We're not always going to have control. Things happen. But we have to plan, make a plan. We've got to be engaged with this. And that's how we shift from this kind of victim mentality to something that's much more empowered. And you're active in your life. You're an agent in your life. You're working toward a better future, right? And we're harnessing our purpose in that. I think there's a few examples of what can happen when you're kind of mired in the if onlys. And one that I come back to a lot is, once again, you have a lot of student loan debt and you don't confront it, or you built up some credit card debt or whatnot. And you just don't confront it because you're kind of stuck in this, if only I won the lottery, if only someone could give me that money and I could pay it off, if only I got that next job or my business idea hit. Maybe you started a business that, kind of needs some venture capital or funding, and it's basically kind of built to sell. And it doesn't work, or it hasn't worked yet. That can be an if only thing. If only investors see what I see. If only we had gotten this funding. And I think you see this with creatives a lot, like waiting to get published, waiting for a movie script to get picked up or get cast for a role. Musicians waiting for the radio station to pick up the latest song, or I think you can get mired into the if onlys there. And what you're doing is you're giving so much power to people outside of you, as opposed to being, once again, engaged in your own life. And one place I see it a lot or often is with pre-retirees or retirees. And what it can look like is if only I had more, if only I had saved more, if only I had made some better decisions. And once again, when you're kind of in this self-victimization mode, you're not confronting reality. And so maybe you keep spending at a pace that you can't afford. Maybe you continue to make bad investments or giving money to family members who keep asking you for it. And that's not sustainable in your financial plan. But you're not confronting the reality of the situation because you're lost in the if onlys. You're lost in this kind of magical, something's going to fix this, or I don't deserve this, therefore I'm just going to keep going. And it might be true. Maybe you don't deserve it. You don't deserve where you are, but that's not productive. And so you have to shift into, I take ownership for where I am and responsibility for where I am. And more importantly, I take ownership and responsibility for my future. And now I'm going to start, being mindful of that and planning for that and working for that. I think one of the ways to snap out of if only is to first shift into gratitude. So the victim mentality, often we're kind of like, the victim is protecting us from this idea of scarcity, this idea that we don't have enough or that we aren't enough. And so the answer to scarcity is always to shift into abundance. What do you have, right? If you're walking, breathing, waking up in the mornings, maybe you're not in pain. Like these are all beautiful things and things to be grateful for. If you have any money to your name, you're better than a lot of people, better off than a lot of people, I should say. And so it's shifting into that gratitude. Like, yeah, maybe you can't retire at 62, but you can retire at 64. Be grateful for that. That's a wonderful thing. Once we have that, we can say, okay, here's what I have now, right? Here's the good things. Now we can kind of like take ownership of the things that are happening in our life, right? And so we can shift from, once again, that victim mentality to, no, there's good here. There's good here. And you know what I can do is if I'm just a little more engaged, I can create more good, right? We can live purposeful lives. We can have money with purpose.